Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the League Defense Randomizer League. We have the playoffs here between the teams represented by the Skullwoods division here, with Alexhax representing Major Mistakes and Dragonstrike representing Team A. How's it going, folks? I am Wolfling0370, and my enemy will hopefully join us soon. In the meantime, right now, I am going to be alone up here in the commentary booth. So what we have for you today is an Assured Sword Seed, as you can see here by our menu on Alexhax. This is also a standard mode race, so we will be doing the escape sequence first. And it is also fast Ganon, so with our settings, Ganon's Tower does not need to be entered at all. So this looks to be a pretty quick one, all things considering. Alright, and our runners are off. Let's see what Uncle has to say. I know where the bow is. Well, tell us that, Uncle. Starting with a heart piece. And we have the Pyramid of Power matches. The Pyramid of Power matches are the higher seeds choice here, and this is the setting we chose. Pendant of Courage match, which will be tomorrow, will be an open 7-7 defeat Ganon. So pretty much the opposite of this. And the Pendant of Wisdom match, which will actually be later today, will be an Ambrosia seed. And we get the beer to start things off. That's pretty good. I don't know if it's... Actually, that can help a little bit with the escape sequence. Yeah, that'll cut off about 1.5 minutes of backtracking with Zelda. And of course, they're looking for bombs in order to get to the back 3 chests of this escape sequence. We're going to go ahead and sync up the timers here just a little bit. So, fast Ganon, as we see 3 crystals on the overworld for the light world. Just to give you an idea here, folks, is simply put, it's still the same goal. We need to get 7 crystals to defeat Ganon, but the requirement for us to having to fight Aghanim 2 is removed. So we can go straight to Ganon once we collect the 7 crystals. And because it's a 7-7 scene and that setting cannot be changed, we will not have to enter Ganon's Tower at all this seed. And of course, Assured Swords, as you can see, we started with the sword. We couldn't use it until we talked to Uncle, mind you. But we have that now, and then we will have that sword for the rest of the game. I forget if this setting adds 1 more sword to the item pool to make up, or removes 1 sword from the item pool to make up for it or not. I don't remember that. But we have 1 to start with, and that's what's important here. So they'll have a guaranteed combat weapon for the escape sequence that they're all familiar with. So with 3 crystals in the light world, that means we have 3 pendants in the dark world, which could mean we don't need a medallion this seed if the pendants land on Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. Could also mean we don't need the flute, could also mean we may not need the fire rod. Lots of possibilities coming up here this early on. And of course, we are still lacking those bombs. It seems it's not in the guard drop table. And the only other source we have that's a different drop table is the rats. And hopefully they have them in the drop pool. Like I said earlier, we want those bombs so we can get to the back 3 chests in the escape sequence before we head up to the sanctuary level. Simultaneous big key grab. The hammer! So mirror and hammer from the get-go out of the escape sequence. Wow! Those are great finds, all things considering. I see these rats would be the other drop. We're gonna wait until we get down to the other level. These snakes, unfortunately, they are part of the guard share draw table with the guards, so they won't have it. They do have full magic, though. And there's the red boomerang, so we can check the stun prize as well to see if that's also a bomb drop. Unfortunately, it's arrows. Not what we wanted to see. Alright, there's a good amount of rats in this room up here in the upper right corner. Arrows. More arrows. Ah, it looks like they're in the arrow dropping pool. Yeah. That is unfortunate. So no bombs for the escape sequence. So these three chests that you're about to see a cracked wall for on the left, we can't get in there yet, so unfortunately we're going to have to leave those behind until we have a glove. But thankfully both runners are having that same issue, and they're in sync right now. Look at this. Just maybe a few steps between each other. And that is a 5-minute escape for both runners. Very well done. That you're saving easily another minute. Alright, but now we get to the main meat of the seed here, now that we are the whole world open to us. Both runners looking to be heading towards Aghanim. Let's see if he is required. It looks like Dragonstrike is going to opt for the Lost Woods, as is Alex, so if Aghanim 1's required, we were not going to know if he's required for the Lumberjack just yet. It is a fairly common play to avoid checking Aghanim 1. Bombs from the poultry! Good find there. And 100 rupees so for the merchant in town. That's convenient as well. Order Crab has a heart. Alright. Time to see what Kakariko has in store for us. I was definitely taking advantage of those bomb pulls. And thankfully we are greeted by beeps. I think these are half speed. It is interesting that Tier 1 and Tier 2 are both single bombs. Magic Powder found for Dragonstrike, along with a bunch of bombs here into the escape. And the sand cart, so Alex will stop beeping for a little bit. So pretty box standard routing we have going on here. Very common routing you see after doing a standard. So you just go to Kakariko because it's just so loaded with items that it's really not a place you ignore for very long. Today it's not paying out that much though. It looks like maybe we have to go to South Shore for our good progression. Oh, there's our gloves, so now we can get to the back 3 chests of escape that we missed. Merchant with the Book of Andorra! Alright. If we have a lamp, we can actually go and fight the Lambolas. Well, actually, that depends if we need the boots or not. Still a good time to have. And that is the last check we can do here in Kakariko without a bottle to check the sick kid. Oh, actually, no, I forgot about the bar. Oh yeah, they can do Magic Pad as well. That's a check you don't see that you get to do that often in your first visit. A 10-minute Magic Pad is actually kind of uncommon. Let's see what's here. ₹20. Now, if they were feeling really bold, they could opt to double back into the forest real quick and check the pedestal, but they want to check more checks right now. It's kind of out of the way to double back. So I can see them doing it after Skull Woods, though, if they need to do Skull Woods. Just to make sure nothing important is there. Alright, Dragonstrike gonna go ahead and check the race game before committing to it. Oh. Cane of Burna. Gonna opt out of that safety item. It is one of the more annoying ones. Alexhax will be doing the same, most likely. So we do have an invincibility item available, but both runners are opting to pass on it. There's our ice rod, though. At the dam. Alright. What did we miss here in Escape? I think one of these is the map. A bottle was here. Wonder what that will become. Mini roller ring coming up here. Master Sword now for Dragonstrike. And some armor. And the bow! Alright. That's some good value right there. Dragonstrike looks to be heading over to Ice Rod Cave in the meantime. Alexhax is going to be heading into Mini Molnar Cave as well, following in Dragonstrike's footsteps. The riding thus far between these two is not. Well, it's kind of common, yeah. Check all of your early locations that you can after doing Escape. We'll see if they start to deviate once they go, if they want to go to Eastern or Desert for their next bit of progression. Whew, Alex nearly dying there. Very close. Leaving Burna behind, though, now that I think about it, is an interesting decision. It is more magic efficient than the cape is. However, one has to keep in mind that with the cane, you cannot do spin attacks with it. So, in regards to being a damaging weapon, it's not the best. It can be useful for some fights that you just don't want to deal with fighter sword or mashing with the B button, like Armos Knights or maybe even Blind. But you don't have any magic for that, really, to make it worthwhile. You really need to have magic to kill a boss with the cane of Burna. If anyone's wondering where Minami is, my co-commentator will be joining us shortly. She just needs a little bit of time to set up. So hospital being checked. 3 items here. We have the red mail. Wow. Okay, very tanky seed to hear. Let's see if we talk to this hospital on our way out. We do not, so we don't know where the green pendant will be. Maybe Alex will talk to him, though. And nope, we're not going to figure out where that green pendant is. And there we go. There's mine to me. How's it going? Must not be unmuted yet. Oh, actually, we can't hear Mind of Me right now. Well, hopefully we get that ironed out. In the meantime, Eastern Palace being checked here by both of the runners.
How's this sound?
Much better.
All right. I see we've got a lot of options here, but logically getting railroaded into Eastern Palace, it looks like.
That's right. To give you a quick overview of what the seed is, for anyone else who might have tuned in a little bit late, we started with a mirror and the hammer in Escape. Kakariko gave us the glove and the powder. We found armor in Mini Molder, came along with the Master Sword and the bow. Ice Rod was in the dam. Bottle was in the backup 3 chest of Escape. We had to get that later because we didn't have any bomb drops. And Red Mail was in Sahasrah's closet. And the book was also in Kakariko as well.
Ooh. So I imagine nobody here has broken up the mountain. Instead are going to go and clear Pendant Eastern. Also out of logic, but crystal is a crystal.
Yes, Pendant Eastern is a crystal. Yeah, we have 3 crystals in the light world here. And nothing really has been found that would warrant going off the beaten path here. Both runners taking a fairly similar route through the seed so far.
Well, are getting to the 2 out of logic checks behind Dark Rooms. This one, the big key chest, only in logic with the lamp. Armos himself could be in logic if we find the fire rod somewhere else, which could very well be in desert.
Yes. One thing it can't be, though, is it can't be in Ganon's Tower, with this being a 7/7 fast Ganon seed. We don't need to enter Ganon's Tower at all.
That's a nice find. That's a real nice field. No need to go and in and out to maybe find swords. No need to climb the tower. And our last item is on Armos.
Which they can both fight with that bow they found in Mini Molder Cave. Still no information on whether or not this is an Aghanim seed, though. And it would only be for Moon Pearl and Pyramid at this point, based on what we have. Or if something important is on the Lumberjack Ledge, which neither runner has checked, actually, so...
Well, looking, whatever we find in, on Armos could be out of logic, could be, maybe the flute to give us logical Death Mountain access, with the lamp being over in Desert or on Zora.
I mean, if there's not progression here, then there's definitely progression in Desert, because we have that book since the Merchant, actually. And no one has been over to the Desert region to check Agina or the Desert Ledge. And even then, we may not be able to finish Desert because it could be boots locked.
That's very true, and so then a double-dipped Eastern Desert Palace, not entirely ideal. You'd love to come in there with a fire source and your boots. But, maybe we luck out, Desert's not boots locked, and we find our fire source right there, and Dragonstrike setting up for the quick kill on the Armos Knight.
Yep, and gets it done pretty cleanly. That's a bottle with a fairy in it. That's not progression. We already have a bottle from the back of Escape. Still haven't turned it in to the sick kid, though.
Oh. Was this a standard start, or did just both runners go into Escape with that glove and a sword?
Both. This was a standard start C, but we did not have bombs in the Escape sequence, so we did not get the bottle that was in the back 3 chests.
Oh. That's an interesting... If neither runner found any bombs in the prize pack, hard to say if they're going to feel behind about checking that sick kid or not.
Neither runner did find bombs. I believe the guards were in the Rupee and Magic drop pool, and the rats, unfortunately, were in the Arrow drop pool, the other consumable that we can use, but did not need at the time.
All right. Hopefully both runners then did realize that they both had to come back with the glove for that, and that one person didn't get the bottle early to check Sig Kid, and we're getting a Lumberjack check from Dragonstrike. Maybe followed up by a Ped check?
Can't see what pedestal is either. Lumberjack is only 3 bombs, so Aga is mostly dead.
Yeah. Alex gonna go to the more item-dense location in terms of Desert, with at least one item available in Agina and some important information in Desert itself, while Dragonstrike is sequence breaking up the mountain. Can potentially clear Tower of Hera and get the 8 items on East Death Mountain.
This is deviation. This is actually the first deviation we've had this entire race. This is gonna get interesting now.
The sequence break is a good play, I feel, with the density of items, and logically, if you find the lamp and it might point you to Aga, that also gives you logical access to this Death Mountain.
That's true. There's the Moon Pearl, though, at Desert!
Oh no! The sequence break not going to pay off in the way that Dragonstrike will be hoping.
But it could pay off in a different way.
Absolutely. If we find, a fire source up here, that would take him over to Desert even more if we find the fire source and the boots. And a potentially another...
Well, speaking of boots!
Oh no!
They're on the
Alexhax
Desert Ledge!
making the play, but still will not be able to clear Desert. Can he go 3 for 3 and find a fire source in here as well?
That would be just the absolute jackpot play. And Dragonstrike is in Dark World right now, checking the map. We do need the flute. We have pendants in Thieves Town and Turtle Rock. Ice Rod's not required. I missed the third pendant, though. I missed Green Pendant.
Green Pendant was Swamp Palace.
No hookshot required this seed yet. Actually, no hookshot required, period.
No.
Outside of potential logics in Ice Palace, but that's a moot point when we know Icebreaker.
Exactly. And I guess potentially also if there's something required in Hookshot Cave, like the Fire Rod.
Doesn't know we found a key here for Alexhax, so he knows this does boots lock, but that's a moot point when the boots are right outside.
Alright, and nothing in the first check of Hera. Dragonstrike would love to find something in this chest that's not a small key, but nope, out of luck.
So we are fire locked out of Hera. Or if you know Herapod, hookshot locked.
Yeah, Dragonstrike would be probably equally happy to find, but probably actually would prefer to find a fire source up here because then that does give him desert access as well.
Knowing that hookshot may not be required to seed is a nicety to have, but at the same time, actually, well, we still need the Titan's mitts. That's the thing. We need Titan's mitts for ice.
Alright, looking to be that there is an item on Armos, or on Lanmos rather.
And the big key was in the big key chest. Okay. I mean, it's fairly common when you only have 6 items in the dungeon.
A relatively vanilla desert layout. If we find a glove in here, that would be interesting.
Nope, heart piece.
Alright, so Alex will have to leave that behind. He'll probably go and start with the Hype Cave route into Thieves Town.
Now, normally we would need the hookshot in it, C77C, to get up at Ganon's Tower. But reminder, folks, this is a fast Ganon goal. Ganon's Tower is completely not required unless, well, actually we do have 2 swords, so no, it's completely off the table.
Alright, Paradox Cave, nothing in the bottom 2, Bug Net, 2 more chance for this mountain play to pull off.
Hookshot and Quake!
Okay, Hookshot gives him the option to sequence break Hera, but he has a pretty good idea that there's going to be an item in that big chest. So making the right call, go into Desert, but will not be able to complete it with a fire source. So Alexhax has quite an advantage, I'd say, at this point.
Alright. It's time to start going to Dark World, I think, for Alex. He's going to start with the Village of Outcast area.
He may dip into Skullwoods, but I would say pretty unlikely without a fire rod. We'll probably choose to route that in, with other North Dark World checks, since he'll be able to check Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb, but he is, going straight to Village of Outcasts and Dragonstrike, about to pick up his Moon Pearl.
Now, there is something to be said about going to Skullwoods early to check the front half of the dungeon at the very least. But yeah, without the fire rod, not really a point to do it right now.
Single Rage Trash from Dragonstrike. Nothing much in chess game. So this is game 1 of this series, looks like, with a lack of Triforce on here. Games 1, 2, and 3 are against the various pendant players. So each team before the season started indicated a green pendant, a blue pendant, and a red pendant. Red pendant power players, you can see it's the highest siege choice. And the lower seed gets to veto one of the options. So they could have vetoed, like for instance, Key Sanity or Inverted. I don't know what the veto was for this seed.
I believe it was mentioned to us that it was an open mode was turned off for this.
Oh,
and as far as the other 2 pendants, the Pendant of Wisdom players play in Ambrosia Seed, that will be shown later today, in fact. And the Pendant of Courage players play in Open 7-7 in Seed. Pretty standard fare, if you will, for any races you might see otherwise.
Alright. Front half of Thieves Town leading to 1 item and that big key. We're going to see some more value in the back.
I should also add this. This is a best of 5 series. So in the event that the first 3 games do not decide a winner between the 2 teams, they will go to games 4 and 5, in which the lower seed will pick for game 4. But in terms of games 4 and 5, they get to choose a representative from their entire team instead of having their team members forced to play a specific game mode.
I believe there's actually already some game 4s on the table with certain pairings splitting their first 2 games.
That's right. And I'll say this much. These two teams got a bit of a rough road ahead of them. Getting through this series, and then when they get through it, they have to fight the first seed of their division, their Skullwoods division, which I believe, if I have my notes here,
Team Awesome.
Yes, Team Awesome, who I believe were the Season 1 champions.
Season 1 champions went undefeated in the regular season. This Skullwoods division was incredibly tight. There were 4 teams vying for the remaining 2 playoff spots, and there was countless possibilities as to how this could have played out, but major mistakes in Hime, the math worked out for them, and playing for the right to face Team Awesome next week for the division championship.
That's right. And once the division championship is met, we'll have the Dark World Conference. In all 4 divisions will face off to have a representative for the division of the Dark World Conference, or conference finalist, and then the Light World Conference winner and the Dark World Conference winner will face off for the grand finals here in the league. You can see the tournament bracket actually on the league website right now. Keep track of your favorite teams as they get going through this final few races.
All right, Dragonstrike is going to go and start with the Hype Cave route.
Hype Cave, not always a great play to start things off. 10 arrows, Heartbeast to the Titan's Mitts.
That's nice.
And only 5 rupees and some bombs as well.
Mitts is a really nice find. It'll make this south loop much better, can avoid the mirror. Although he's probably planning to mirror anyway to check that bottle, as Alexhax is about to right now.
Gonna go ahead and check the pyramid first, though.
Or perhaps a full pod play. And a good point in chat that Alex, when he finds his mitts, that means when he goes up the mountain, will not have to go back up to check all of the Dark Death Mountain locations.
There we go. We have a normal heart grenade here. We did already find Saint Card. That was also in Kakariko. And look at how much health Alex has. I just now noticed that. Very healthy seed this seed.
Already 12 hearts.
Yeah, we're only 31 minutes in. Dragon is actually going to check a rather uncommon check here with the Catfish.
This is okay. Catfish into Zora does mean that Waterfall may be orphaned, but could set up some Splash Delete to check that and get an item off Zora Ledge if required.
Yeah, but here's the one issue right here. Note the rupee count on Dragonstrike. He doesn't have enough for Zora.
Maybe he can get bailed out by 300 rupees from Catfish right here.
No, but that's a Fire Rod. That's even better.
Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, Dragonstrike gonna leave that Zora checks for now. Continue this North Dark World route to do his mirror and boots checks, and then go straight into Skullwoods.
And that Catfish is 100% required because we need that Fire Rod to get through to the boss of Skullwoods.
All right, Alex gonna go and pick up his Titan's mitts.
And the hookshot does open up convenience options like this for Dragonstrike right here. This will let him check King's Tomb and the Bonk Rocks as well as his Graveyard Ledge. Oh, Alex soft blocked? I didn't see that. There's money in King's Tomb.
Oh.
Oh, he shoulder dash out the dead game. That would do it, yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, because otherwise he would have loved to combo that into K45 Stumpy, finishing up with Hype Cave, and then taking care of Pod at that time.
Yeah, you gotta be careful of little oversights like that when you don't have the items like the shovel. Oh, there's our flippers too.
Oh wow, this North Dark World route paying off dividends for Dragonstrike. That's fantastic. He'll also be able to clear Ice Palace.
And can also full clear Swamp.
Let's not talk about that.
Well,
that's very true.
It could have something important in it. I would like it to not be entered, but at the same time, could have Arcana Samaria.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that would make Ice Palace more appealing, but we've got 2 items in Skull Woods, we've got 5 that we can grab out of Pod, get that item off Landmo, the 2 in Tower of Hera, all the Dark Death Mountain checks. With the exception of Spike Cave, would still like to see an invincibility item for that.
Yeah, we need... At this point, we just need the Arcana Samaria and the flute. And we're... Oh, there's the flute right there! We need the cape!
Okay, Cape and Samaria for Go mode. This is shaping up to be a very quick seed indeed.
Yes, even more so when you consider the fact we don't have to go to Ganon's Tower. As a matter of fact, we just need to go up the mountain to finish off Hera.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, there's the potential of, Meyer Medallion, I guess, as well, but there's so many checks open to us, even in the Meyer area, with a checkerboard, Meyer Shed, the 2 in Meyer itself, the item on Landmo.
Yeah, it's fairly unlikely that we will require the Quake Medallion specifically for Mystery Meyer, but at the same time, we're gonna have so many checks before then, we might find the other 2 medallions on the way.
Alright, Alex going for the item density and a dungeon clear in Pod. Out of logic without the lamp. And, would love to have a fire source for that Terrapin room at the back. We'll see how he handles it once he gets back. Oh my gosh! Alexhax just finding the items as he needs them, and Dragonstrike finding some nice, useful items along the way that Alex may take a little bit of time to get to.
Oh no, I just realized something. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, don't say it.
But I will say this, Dragonstrike in his position right now could mirror and check the pedestal for us.
Yeah. Yeah, we know Samaria can't be on there. But, one of those other 2 medallions very well could be.
Also the cape.
Also the cape. Dragonstrike making good work of the Gibdo room, efficient fire rod shots. And we were, in fact, bow locked in Pod, not an issue with that early bow. But always good to keep in mind.
That's always good to keep in mind, yeah. There is also the notion that we could have the second bow on pedestal as well, which would mean that unless you want to go get all the other pendants, this is going to be a forced silverless seed. And ideally, they would want another sword for that, because Master Sword Silverless is not the easiest Ganon fight to do.
No, I know that these 2 runners are 100% capable of it, but it's long and painful, and those other 2 swords could be locked in Ganon's Tower, which you really don't want to have to climb just for a sword.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely be interesting to see how this race plays out. Compass on the buff and a compass for Alexhax as well for his dungeon. That is the crystal though for Dragonstrike. We'll see if Dragonstrike mirrors to check the pedestal. Has a few options.
We'll check Bridge Chest first, so that pet check will be a little bit delayed.
Alexhax Mio, with those Dynamites in hand, is going to continue going through. Oh no, we're doing the pet check right now.
Okay.
Yep. With the Titansmith, it's going to be continuing through Palace of Darkness here. Pedestal is just a heart container.
All right, ped not required. So we are on the hunt for the cape and Samaria. And I hadn't noticed at the time, but Alex cleared a pendant thieves town for not much of anything. So that was some opportunity for Dragonstrike, made up a bit of time.
Now, with the Broforters having the tightest meds, they could check Hookshot Cave, but that's only a Dragonstrike right now. Both could get into... Oh, actually, no. Only Dragonstrike can get into Ice Palace right now.
Yeah, I mean, Alex could get... Oh, yeah, because of that catfish. So Alex needs to do Dark North, Dark World. Grab that fire rod from Catfish, or maybe just run into Bombos here in Pod. That would be a thing. And Dragonstrike also going to make the Pendant Thieves play. There was only one item here in the front, and all the rest were in the back. So we'll see if he just checks these front four or if he continues on.
With the lamp in hand, I think Alex, after doing Helm Circling, will be making the mountain climb. Get full clear of both sides of the mountain, light and dark. Well, with the exception of Hookshot Cave, actually. But the Hookshot's up there, so that's a moot point.
Yep, exactly. Be able to see what those two items in Hera are.
Indeed. And that'll be the only time we need to go up the mountain as well, unless for some unlawful reason we have to go into Turtle Rock for one of our progression items.
Yeah, if Cape could very well be on Turtle Rock somewhere. And Dragonstrike in good position to perhaps do some of the Smith Chain here, which Alex didn't have the opportunity to do.
Actually, it looks like there was no pendant on Alex's pause menu, as someone was pointing out in chat.
Okay, so he did get all the items out of Thieves Town. He just did not kill the boss. But still, doing the basement and doing the attic is a little bit of a time consumption, even if blind itself isn't much of one.
That's it, kid. Only give us a singular rupee.
Alright, Dragonstrike on his way to dig Kame. We'll see a couple more checks then that we didn't get to see from Alexhax due to that shovel lock. Alex having a little bit of issues with the terrapins, going for hammer strats. And we are on to Alex's second crystal boss.
Getting up the Helmsar King, getting him done while he's in the area. Makes sense to me. Smith's to Dragonstrike in the meantime.
We're gonna go see the Smith turn in. I imagine we already saw the powder turn in. I'm not entirely sure of the sequence between powder and hammer, so...
Oh yeah, we did that early because we had the hammer in Zelda Cell, so that was checked on the initial sweep of Kakariko. I forgot to mention that.
Alright, only bombs on Helmasaur, but that is an important crystal. Nothing in Hammer Pigs. Going to check this myth.
Smith is the Cane of Samaria!
Okay,
Cape?
we are Cape. Where that Cape is anywhere but the Meyer area.
Hold on a moment.
And
Medallion pending. Medallion pending. We are Cape away from go mode. Ideally, we would like another sword or the silvers as well.
Dragonstrike probably wish he would have found Cape first, because now that opens up Turtle Rock for that Cape and medallions, if Turtle Rock is Quake.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation to be in. Alexhax going to check the pyramid in the meantime. Has already been to Hype Cave, so it does have the Titan's Bed.
This is good. After he checks Pyramid, he'll make his way to Catfish and grab that Fire Rod. Then I'll see if he continues to Zora area or continues North Dark World.
I mean, with the money in hand, Alexhax can do what Dragonstrike did not and full clear the North Dark World. You can even mirror and check the... Well, no, actually, no. You can't get across to check the graveyard from here.
Oh, he can't. No, he's going to be doing the Zora, and so Graveyard Ledge, but he will probably save and quit back to Skull Woods and then do the North Dark World after that.
Unfortunately, I was looking away from Dragonstrike and I missed what the purple chest had inside of it. But we are going to see what Bombo said. I believe we already saw this with Alex.
Yeah, Alex had already checked this. We'll see if Dragonstrike decides to clear Desert at this time.
Choosing not to? That makes some sense. You've already been in there for the most part. You know that there's an item on the boss, but you... well, actually, wait, he's going back in.
Yeah,
and this is... Sorry, go ahead.
Yep, this is the desert play. I was thinking, maybe he was thinking about Ice Palace or Pod. But he's thinking he knows that that cape could be on Landmo. Ideally, he would get the cape or the flute back to finish off Desert then. But you know what? You're in the area. This is about the fastest to go back there, and then you're not risking leaving that cape on Landmo.
Doubles on the Zora ledge. That is an item that Dragonstrike can get, but not Alexhax cannot.
He does have a... Well, potentially could splash them. Okay, that's nice. Alex could splash Leet. He's got Red Cane, he's got Bow, he's got Bombs. Or Red Boom, I mean, not Red Cane.
Yeah, I believe this is 2 bombs and 3 arrows is the setup.
He has save and quit since Armos, so his Ancilla from fighting Armos should be reset. Sometimes with all the arrows that you fire, rapid fire during the Armos fight, it can mess up the Ancilla values.
There he goes, he got it. Oh, but messed it up slightly.
No, that was unfortunate. So he needed to go right down the waterfall and instead started swimming up back towards Zora. So this will...
I think actually the bomb explosion caught him off guard. Knocked him out of position for the actual Ancilla thing. He was set up, he did this do splash releasing successfully, but the bomb exploding prevented him from going down off the ledge, was it still in effect.
Okay. And yeah, Alex going up the mountain, not checking the Aga Ledge, not clearing Skull Woods, will not get that information about the flute. But there are 8 items up here he can get. The 2 in Hera, 8 items that we haven't seen. For him, there's even more on East Death Mountain.
Item in Desert was the Fire Shield. That is another crystal now for Dragonstrike.
I feel like Pod into Ice into Zora area would make sense for Dragonstrike. Get those dungeons cleared.
I'm thinking check the Zord Clipper checks first, then do Ice, then do Pod.
Either way, really.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Always be clearing crystals.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, that makes me want to stay out of ice for the moment. And I'm not sure if Dragonstrike will do this or not. He does have 2 bottles on him, but neither of those is a green potion. One's a bee and one's a fairy.
Yeah, that's true. And he's going to be using up extra magic with Samaria, even on top of killing the Freezors with the Fire Rod.
So, yeah, this is going to be a very magic-intensive routing here from Dragonstrike. We'll most likely do Icebreaker, though, to save...
Well, Icebreaker just uses more magic than Ice Palace Bomb Jump. Ice Palace Bomb Jump, takes up your bombs and your health, but those are a bit easier to find. Maybe we're going to get lucky and nope, there's no magic drops in the Pengators.
That is unfortunate. And unfortunately, we already checked the stun prize. That is arrows. We checked that during the escape sequence with the boomerang in there.
Do we know what the prize pack, the Baris, are?
We do not, I think. I don't think they killed enemies in Palace of Darkness yet.
Alright, Alex doing his long basement wait for that big key. Both of our items will be on top. Not sure where in the top, but they'll be there somewhere.
The something to note here is Dragonstrike did not hit the crystal switch, so will be locked out of finishing Ice Palace, I think.
No, because when it's a full clear, you're going to guarantee to get all the keys as well as the big key. So then you can just do the vanilla route. And he has Cane of Samaria, so he doesn't need to worry about that. He can just use his keys to get down to the basement and then place a Samaria block on the switch.
You can even use one of the extra small keys to open up the crystal switch down there if he's even stuck.
Alright. Are you going to kill these berries? Maybe we'll see a drop. Alright, we find 2 bottles, but neither of them useful for Ice Palace. One with a bee and one empty.
That's all 4 bottles.
Yep. Still one more item in Ice Palace. Our 2 Hera items are in the big chest and on Moldorm.
Piece of heart for Alexhax. So nothing too major just yet.
Alright, that's all the items in Ice Palace. So Dragonstrike gonna go and steal the key from that room going into Ice Tea, or hopefully there's a key in this big chest.
There's not, unfortunately.
Alright. I'll have to steal the key from the Ice Tea room. No issue with Tempered for Alexhax.
Hera just being a dud right now, but Crystal has been claimed at the very least. So, all eyes on the Dark World here for Alexhax. Maybe there's something there we need. And we're checking the berries. Berries have a 20 rubies in their item pool, I think. That means they
I don't know if there's... Yeah, I don't think the magic drops are in any of those pools. But he can grab some magic from this crystal switch room.
Wait, 10 arrows and 20 rubies. Could this be the berry drop pool, which means there is magic available? I remember the berry drop pool having rather high value items.
Dragonstrike is not going to have enough magic. He will not have a full magic bar here. He's one small pot short.
Ooh, I think I know what he's doing though. Quake for Turtle Rock, we need it.
Okay.
Alright, so Dragonstrike is going to be yeah, he's going to try to do some hits here with some sword or beams.
Alright, here's Hookshot Cave for Alexhax. If this doesn't work out... Oh, thank goodness. If that didn't work out for Dragonstrike, that would have been a huge time loss. A hookshot cave not leading to anything for Alex.
Well, Alex only had doesn't have the hookshot just yet. That's in Paradox. And only 20 arrows here in Super Bunny Cave. Good on Dragonstrike for that trick as well.
Oh, that's fantastic game knowledge to know that, you know, since the fire rod has that splash animation, it continues to do damage while that's on screen, so the sword beams do extra damage.
So Canis Mario was required for Ice Palace to be cleared because of where that small key was. It was kind of a moot point because we already had Canis Mario, but it's still good to know.
Okay, Dragonstrike mirroring, likely gonna do Zora checks now. Was there any other fake flipper early to Hobo or anything?
There was not. This is the first look at any sort of flipper checks from either runner.
Okay.
And so far, nothing has paid out just yet. We're gonna see what the fairy bottles give us. Blue potions!
Oh, if only he did that before ice.
That would have been very nice to have, yeah.
But now, with his bosses left, nothing too magic intensive, although with the prospect of a Master Sword Silverless Ganon, we'll be getting Tempered Sword though, so we'll see if he grabs any more blue potions along the way.
Well, something else to keep in mind as we get Quake and Hookshot now for Alexhax and the Bugnet is that with the fact that we know that we need the cape to get the flute, we can do cave strats on Ganon if we need to. But with our magic only being in its normal value instead of having the half magic meter, it is going to be a fairly magic intensive fight, so having extra blue potions would help.
Alright, there's that shovel for Dragonstrike. See if he checks that right away or goes straight into pod.
And Alex does not know about the flute's location currently. That is knowledge exclusive to Dragonstrike.
Alright.
There's our silvers!
Okay. Dragonstrike very likely not to get those, unless the cape is in Turtle Rock. I mean,
at this
cape
point,
could also be in Swamp Palace or on the Green Pendant.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty safe to say that a pendant dungeon other than Thieves Town could have our progression. Alex is going to be checking Spike Cave here, though.
Alright, it's just going to be brute forcing this with his health, no invulnerability items.
That is true, but there is a vulnerability item in play. They just never picked it up. It was Kane and Burn in the race game. So this is in logic as far as we know. It's just not in logic because they don't have the item. They both opted out of it.
And neither of those are the cape that we are looking for. Now Dragonstrike will be completing his pod play, and this looks to be North Dark World for Alex. We'll do Skullwoods and then hopefully make his way over to Graveyard Ledge. We'll see the flute on Bumper Cave and know that the cape will be his probable go mode, pending Meyer medallions.
We haven't the medallions yet either for the remaining dungeons. We do have the medallion for Turtle Rock with Quake, but for all we know, Mr. Meyer could be Quake or it could be another medallion. At this point, though, based on what we know, I'm kind of leaning towards divvying one of our pendant dungeons, and if I had to choose between Swamp or Turtle Rock, that's actually a really hard call. I'd say Swamp, honestly. That's a little... You don't have to worry about the mountain climb with that one.
I would agree, and it gives you, you know, it's... in terms of items, you know, Turtle Rock has 5, plus Mimic Cave is 6. Swamp Palace has 6, plus the Green Pendant, that's 7. And, with diver down tricks that I'm sure both of these runners are at least familiar with doing, makes a full clear of swamp a little more palatable.
What the checks we know, though, Dragonstrike is more likely to go up Dark Death Mountain and do Turtle Rock, though. Because he still has those extra 6 checks in the Super Bunny Cave and then Hookshot Cave to do.
As well as the 2 in Tower of Hera and Spike Cave.
And Ether as well. So yeah, Dragonstrike more likely to be weighted to go to Turtle Rock before Swamp.
Well, maybe we will see that divergence with these runners once they have cleared each other's crystal dungeons.
And Alex still hasn't done the Smiths yet either, so doesn't have the Cadence Mario, so that's not even... Going to the Turtle Rock's not even an option for him.
I mean, he's very likely going to do this North Dark World and then follow that up with Smiths, which will put him right in line to do Swamp afterwards. He still does have Stumpy and K45 to check, since he had that soft lock.
And this is our first look at Skull Woods. We found 300 rubies here. I don't think we found the second item yet. Oh, actually, no. We saw this already from Dragonstrike. What am I talking about?
Yeah. No, we saw both items.
I'm shows you how much I'm paying attention. It's still early for me.
Fast Ganon, fast seed, fast progression. It did not take us long to narrow down what we needed for the seed potentially. So in terms of major mistakes and Hime, during the regular season, they faced each other during Cross Keys Week. And I wonder if this series goes to game 4 or 5, if we may see any kind of cross key rematch. Entrance is not an option for games 4 and 5, but Key Sanity certainly is.
We're seeing getting some Key Sanity seats during this playoff week. They can be quite confusing when you add all dungeons in the mix, I'll say that much.
And while we're about an hour into the seed, these two players are going to be featured hopefully quite a lot over the upcoming weeks. They want to make it deep into the playoffs. Please give them a follow. They are both German speakers, so if you're interested in the German community or would like to hang out with some of the more German Link to the Past randomizer crowd, would really recommend to give them a follow.
Of course, folks, as a reminder, this is just the end of power representation from these two teams. Pendant of Wisdom will actually be fighting later today, and Pendant of Courage will be fighting tomorrow.
The Pendant of Wisdom will be Kermit versus Catobat, and again, that is an Ambrosia seed, and that's going to be in about 2 hours' time. Pendant of Courage is just a regular open 7-7 defeat Ganon. That's Tito versus Ravus. And that's actually a rematch. They already had that game 1 once, and it was a 2-second tie. So, hype match, rematch of Game 1 version 2.
That's right. And to bring in that mentioned, and we should also mention how ties work in this. So if a tie is in the playoffs, as we see that Alexhax gets the information about the flute just now. If a tie is in the playoffs, the two teams, the two members, will rematch under the same setting. So if Alexhax and Dragonstrike were to tie here, it would be a short sword, standard fast Ganassi like this one is right here.
Alright, Dragonstrike gets his crystal. Alex about to get his flippers. We'll see if he continues on to Zora area to pick up those checks that he missed, or if he goes over to Smith Game and gets his Cane of Samaria.
We don't know what that shovel has in store for us. I don't think either runner has checked it.
Nope, not yet. Alright, Dragonstrike going to the mountain, gonna do his checks up here, and very likely will go into Turtle Rock.
Let's see where Alex is going. He's making a decision right now. Looks like he's starting at Link's house, which means he's probably thinking Swamp.
Or Ice Palace.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be Ice Palace first.
Probably gonna do that same route that Dragonstrike did. We'll have to consider his magic, but we're gonna get Hobo first. And yeah, I looked up the stats for when these two teams met during the regular season. Again, it was across Keys Week. They had split. Dragonstrike had met Catabat, and Tito had met Ravis.
And they could have them fight again in another Key Sandy Sea for all we know.
Absolutely.
And I want to remind everyone, once again, folks, that each of these three runners on each team is represented by a pendant. And for these first three games, they are fighting each other based on that pendant that they were given. Once Game 4 and 5 happens, if it's required, though, they are allowed to choose which team member fights the other. A representative, if you will.
Alex gonna go and do the flippers checks first. As long as he grabs, checks the bottle, he will get a blue potion, but is not going to get that blue potion for Ice Palace, and will be in the similar situation that Dragonstrike was. Also not grabbing that shovel.
Probably just want to go back there for it. And Dragonstrike did see the medallion requirement for Turtle Rock. It was Quake. Gonna opt to go over here first and take care of Hera. Smart play, I'd say.
I would agree. You know, clear this crystal dungeon first. You know there's 2 items in here.
And on top of that, if it's Turtle Rock and it's not anything important, or we find the cape, we can immediately stay put, and we are in go mode. And he doesn't have to do anything else on the mountain.
And yeah, Dragonstrike gonna do Herapot. Unfortunately, one of the items is in the big chest. We'll see if he decides to abandon that. It's not his regression item, but would mean that he'd have to go back down to the basement and check it.
We'll see, we'll see. This is... Sorry, go ahead.
Might be banking on Turtle Rock and just wants to get the crystal out of here.
Wouldn't put it past him. With 2 items here, and the fact that we've had it available so early, I think Dragonstrike might be considering the fact that if it was Cape here, this would have been over by now. Which it could very well have been. But just grabbing the crystal and moving on out of the dungeon for the time being.
Alex not going to do the diver down, instead is going to opt for the more traditional Ice Palace bomb jump. This will save his magic.
Does trip though, so it has to redo it.
Again, it's a bit of a trade-off. Icebreaker is much faster, but it costs you magic, which can be a premium in Ice Palace. Ice Palace Bomb Jump, you know, for a full clear isn't that much slower, but it does cost you health and bombs.
Oh, also there's the fact there's no Samari for Alex. We forgot that he hasn't done Smith
of course. Yet. Hasn't done the Smith. Icebreaker not an option.
Yeah, but at least this way, as you said, he does have the magic, which means he doesn't have to worry about trying to do a precise sword beam to hit Cold Stare without magic. And wow. Just wow. I'm just looking at the health now on Alex. This scene is going by pretty fast.
So 17 hearts. Loaded with, I believe we found all the heart containers at this point. There might be one more.
Dragonstrike is going back in for this one last item here in Hera.
Yeah, if this was the cape or a Meyer medallion, he would feel really bad about last location in this. It probably wants to be thorough, and while he's on the mountain, go and take care of Turtle Rock afterwards.
I think Turtle Rock, I want to say this, as I don't know. Is Genis Tower even have anything worthwhile in it?
Maybe our last sword?
Maybe our last sword, yeah.
Maybe half magic? Like, that's about it.
Because at this point, it may just be completely filled with big 20s and other rupee amounts. Because we've got pretty much everything else. We know where the blue boomerang is. We've seen that on Spectacle Rock. We know where the blue cane is. So, we know where the flute is. We know the cape can't be in there. So, it can only be medallion in terms of required items, or the last sword or the last shield. For anything that can be even remotely important to us.
But now that both runners have tempered and silvers, they're not really looking for any more things in terms of safeties.
No. And they know they need the cape at this point. So, they have the ideal safety here. And actually, one of those heart containers I just realized is on Pet, so... There's 18 hearts known to us on Alex's end.
Alright, that's Hera for Dragonstrike, full cleared. So now it's Turtle Rock. And I can imagine that Alex will probably do Swamp Palace after Ice, may check that shovel first. But who knows, he may opt for a mountain climb as well.
Alex doesn't have the shovel, he opted against it.
Oh, that's right, and he still doesn't have Samaria from the Smiths. So yeah, he'll do Smiths into Swamp, I imagine, then. I hope. If you want a close race, you want him to do Smiths into Swamp.
Yeah. And if you want an even closer race, you want Smiths into Swamp in the first chest as cape in Swamp Palace. Because if cave's not in Turtle Rocks, this is going to eat up a lot of the Dragonstrike's advantage going into the final few checks of the seed.
I think the closest race would be Cape under that shovel and both runners' last location checking it.
I think Dragonstrike will check that before he goes into Swamp, though. This is the thing. Uh-oh. 3 hearts for Alex.
He does have a fairy in the bottle that he picked up. One of the puffs down to 2 hearts. Any hit will kill him.
Being extremely careful.
2 puffs down.
That looked really close there.
Nicely done by Alexhax. And
Alright.
we are tied, almost tied on crystals. Alex is probably going to put off desert until he finds that cape. Because that's another option. Dragonstrike decided that, you know what, that cape could be on Landmo, cleared it while he was in the area.
Yeah, and that wasn't necessarily a bad call to make either. He didn't know for all intents and purposes.
In terms of unknown things, we have that shovel, we have Turtle Rock, and we have Swamp Palace, and I believe that's everything.
Yeah. With Misery Mire being the other 5/6, the cape cannot be in the Pyramid Fairy. It can definitely not be in Turtle Rock. Or, not Turtle Rock, Gannis Tower. And we've checked every other overworld spot pretty much.
And Alex is gonna make the swamp play before Smith's.
This is the play to make. If the cape is here, and he does the Smiths immediately, he's in go mode and has a significant advantage here, because Dragonstrike is going to spend a few minutes still going through this Turtle Rock.
Oh, the other thing Alex could find in here is one of the other medallions that may be required for Mire.
That is also true. Both dungeons could be required in their own ways. We don't know yet. Until we find the cape.
Nice use of the peg invincibility to wait for the anti-fairies to bounce away before grabbing the key.
Being the keys. First small key there. Only small key of Swamp Palace actually that's in a chest. Alright. First chest of Swamp coming up here that actually has an item for us here in this mode.
And Dragonstrike has a long trek over to Mimic Cave.
And just to answer question chat, yes, this is, they chose to do an assured fast Ganon standard siege for us today. They can actually change the crystal counts from my understanding in the playoffs, so they will always be 7/7 seeds if they're chosen to be so. Or, regardless of what other settings are chosen.
Yep, for these, you know, the power player of powers as well as the game's 4 and 5 seeds, you can choose the goal between defeat Ganon, fast Ganon, or all dungeons. Choose the world state, open, standard, or inverted. Choose swords, randomized, assured, vanilla, or swordless. And you can choose a dungeon item shuffle, either none, maps compass only, maps compass small keys, or full key sanity. Entrance is not an option. Or Randomizer.
Yes, and all the features that come with them as well.
Alright, find a compass in the compass chest, so there will be an item or a big key on the left-hand side. Or an item and a big key.
There's ether in the Crystal Roller room.
Okay, that's potentially required.
And even though runners with good execution doesn't necessarily mean they can pick 7/7, those runners with good execution just say, hey, let's play all dungeons. In which case their execution will matter a lot more.
Alex choosing not to do diver down is just going to do the full left side clear, and Dragonstrike on his way to Laser Bridge for the meat of Turtle Rock lies.
We have a question by our tracker, Little Jen. With vanilla swords, it is Uncle's sword will be vanilla. It'll be the Master Sword being vanilla at the pedestal. Smiths will have a sword, and Pyramid Fairy will have a sword.
Yep. I mean, the order you get them in won't necessarily be vanilla, so I mean, generally I think players will go for the Uncle Sword and the Smith Sword and the Pyramid Fairy Sword, but you may be required to get that Pyramid Sword, or the Pedestal Sword.
Both runners still going through their respective dungeons. No cave spotted yet.
Alright, there is an item on Trinex, I believe. Left side of bus for Alexhax.
So if it's not in either one of these dungeons, we know by default that it's the shovel spot, I think.
Yeah. Or... yeah, shovel, that's it. I mean, green pendant as well as, you know, is an additional check here for Alex in Swamp.
That's true. Alright. Trinex in phase 2. Double spin and a slash. There we go.
Alright. Trinex, what do you have for us today? Is it the cape?
It's our piece.
Okay.
And he's just gonna nope out, taking the item and running.
Yep, no need to sit through the pendant cutscene. We know pedestal's not required. We'll see if Dragon checks shovel first and then goes into Swamp, or just goes straight into Swamp.
Checking shovel. So we'll know one way or the other.
Flooded items in Swamp, the map,
Big key.
and the big key. Oh, alright, let's see if he can get the stair dash to avoid the glitch. He's holding right.
Nope. And the shovel spot's only 10 arrows, so it's in Swamp.
It is in Swamp or on the green pendant.
So remember how I said earlier this he could be a hookshot the seed? Yeah, apparently I'm a liar. Because there's the cape right there. We are now in no mode. Alex needs to get the cape smart off the smith before he's in go mode. And even then, we don't know if the Meyer medallion is Bombos. In which case...
yeah.
Actually,
or
no.
Ether.
Well, if it's Ether, then that gives the Dragonstrike an advantage here.
For sure. But I mean, that Bombos medallion could be green pendant.
Could be Meyer Shed, could be Checkerboard. There's our last sword as well.
Okay, so absolutely nothing in GT except for maybe half magic.
Actually, that is something I was confused a little bit about earlier. With the sword, is it just 3 swords in the item pool, or is there still a 4?
With the Shard Sword, there's still 4 swords in the item pool. It's just that one of them will be guaranteed to be on Uncle. So I guess it's more just that that's placed first as a sword, and then the other 3 swords are randomized.
But
there's not gonna be a green 20 anywhere.
But we start with the sword. Uncle has a random item.
Oh, right. In that case, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's just an empty chest or a green 20 somewhere. Just like starting. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. It's probably a green 20, because that way you can find the third sword and the final sword in 2 different locations. Anyway, green pendant picked up. The Bombos medallion is not in Swamp. Let's see where Alex goes next.
It's about the same length of trip to turn in the green pendant versus doing shovel and then starting smiths. We'll see which he does first. Thinking. All right, smith chain. Smith chain, check shovel along the way. We'll get his cane of Samaria.
That's a good thing.
And of course, the flute.
Yeah, this is the right play to make from Alex. He knows the flute is over here. Oh wait, he could just be going straight for flute and not going for smiths. That looks like what he's doing.
Oh, he might be banking on Samaria being in the Meyer area, or even worse, in Meyer itself.
Not a bad call to make based on what he knows, but we know otherwise.
Okay, Dragonstrike going straight for the back is going to set up Diver down. We'll see if he checks the big key chest right away. Alright. You're hoping that when you, wiggle in there, you're going to pick up that big key and see if he runs back up to check the big chest. Nope, going to go and continue on to the back and then re-enter Swamp after.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how Diviner interacts with leaving the water like that, so probably would play it safe and go to the boss first. I'd say, yeah.
At this point, it's about the same length of time anyway.
And at this point, Dragonstrike knows the cape is in here.
Yep, he knows it's either here or Green Pendant. There's nothing else for him to check.
Now, if he goes and leaves this advanced dungeon hoping it's on the Green Pendant, that is going to be a minor time sink. We'll have to re-flood the initial area.
I don't imagine he's going to do that, because he knows that there's 3 items left in there in the big chest and on the left side. Dragonstrike does also have the back of Thieves Town, because he only did the first 4, then opted out. Alex did get all the items out of Thieves Town.
Yeah, and just to add to what I was saying, chat, so that's not confusion. Dragonstrike might think the cape is on the Green Pendant and might lead to go check that instead of going to finish the dungeon. But he's playing it smart, gonna finish the dungeon first.
Now, I imagine... Do you think he'll save and quit after grabbing that cape, or will he think that maybe Bombos is on left side?
If you're worried about Bombos, you check to see if it's Bombos first, I'd say. Left side... that's a touchy subject. We know it's nothing on our end, because Alex has already checked it. But we'll see what Dragonstrike does here as he picks up the cape.
Alright.
Here.
And we are about to see what the Meyer medallion is. Is it Quake? Is it Ether? Or is it Bombos?
We'll not know, because Alex is going to check Meyer Shed first. 50 rupees. And 20 rupees. The ideal thing for Alex is to not see Ether here. That is important to note.
He doesn't even want to look. He wants to clear out all these other items first. He's gonna clear Landmo, clear Checkerboard Cave, and then look at Meyer, because he doesn't want to dip into Meyer without Samaria.
If it's Ether, that's pretty much GG, because that's in Turtle Rock in the Crystal Roller room.
Bombos could even this up a little bit if it's then on the Green Pendant, but yeah, if it's Ether, that's a huge advantage for Dragonstrike.
But even then, it could be very well be GG as well, because without the King of Samaria, Alexhax can't even enter this dungeon if it's even Quake. And Dragonstrike with the King of Samaria is going to make it a beeline to finish this dungeon and knows that Bombos is outside of it if it's required.
At least for Cane of Samaria Go mode for Alexhax, hopefully Meyer is not Ether, but it means that he won't have to dive into Turtle Rock looking for that Cane of Samaria. He knows it's either Green Pendant or Smith Chain.
That's correct.
Getting a little bit too excited with those Landmos.
Zoop coming online now for Dragonstrike.
Alexhax feeling a little bit out of sorts, I feel, with these silver arrows going astray. But took a deep breath, calmed down, gets it down there on the foresight.
Meanwhile, I just realized we have the mirror shield as well, so if there's anything in Ganon's Tower, it can only be the mushroom, the Bombos tablet if it's not required for visiting Meyer, and the half magic, along with a few heart pieces at most.
Okay. Dragonstrike, even though the second one to enter the Meyer area, may be the first one that'll show us the Meyer medallion.
We're seeing it. It's Quake!
Okay. Both
that is Go mode.
That is Go mode for Dragonstrike. So huge advantage now. Alexhax would have to make the play to go straight to Smith Chain to get his Samaria, and then out-execute Dragonstrike. And I think Dragonstrike would have to make some kind of mistake as well.
It's the last dungeon for Dragonstrike, just so simple. Just needs to find the big key here. Alex is gonna hope that it's in here, but we know it's not. And if he finds the mushroom, that might lead him astray as well.
Alright, Dragonstrike hoping for an early big key. Alex hoping for a not early big key. Spike chest. Small key.
We're gonna check this chest now, which is the bridge chest. If that's the big key, then we are done. Nope, it's one of the heart pieces we were missing.
Oh, that's very important. I mean, we wouldn't want, you know, these guys to have less than 18 hearts going into Ganon with butter sword and silver arrows and red mail.
Not to mention cape and a blue potion on Dragonstrike at the very least.
That is one item for Alexhax. So Alex, you're hoping that maybe we've got vanilla big key here, and you know the other item is maybe in the map chest. Getting a couple of frame drops here from Dragonstrike. We'll have to see when the next slideshow. There's the big key. Okay, not vanilla.
Might as well be vanilla though, because that I believe puts a small key in the big key chest.
I don't think. I know it works the other way around. If that's a small key, then the big key has to be vanilla. But I don't know if it works the other way around. If the big key's in there, the small key has to be in there. I think so.
I think so too.
Meyer key logic comes up so rarely that I don't really pay attention to it.
And it's really just a moot point if you're because key logic is always worst case scenario. And rarely do you see runners attempt the worst case scenario here in Misery Mire.
Alright, Dragonstrike going through the back, making nice work. We'll be on to Vitreous shortly. Silver arrows will have no issue taking care of him.
Jump us over Alexhax in the meantime. And the map.
Alright, last item is either in the this lobby, vanilla big key chest, or here on Vitreous.
Yeah. For Alex's hack's sake, I hope it's not the mushroom and it's on the boss. Gotta check the cutscene chest first, it looks like. Dragonstrike, meanwhile, is approaching Vitreous. Entering the boss room now.
Well, see a screenshot. This is how Vitreous looks before the fight. We can already see the eyeballs being deleted by those silver arrows. Pro tip, do not put projectiles into your own eyes. They will disappear much in the same way. And Alexhax did not find the mushroom, luckily. Alright.
Blue rupee on the boss.
Okay. Gonna flute from the mountain. We want him to go to 3 to do Smith Chain.
I think that's all he has left. Yeah, he's got to do this. But anyway, folks.
Yep.
He does
That's 7 crystals.
Right? Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, normally we'd be entering Ganon's Tower playing a guessing game, but it's Fast Ganon. We don't have to go to GT. It's time to fight the pig. Pyramid's already open. Let's go. Chet's jokingly guessing 0, but they'd be right.
Exactly. I prefer not a number in these kinds of situations. Looks like he's gonna...
Used to be a mirror and flute.
Probably a flute to 5 and then run from pod.
Trying to guess how many teleports Ganon will do.
How many teleports in the total phase 3 or per warp?
I think total is what they're going with. Hammer pegs leading to nothing. Dragonstrike hot on his trail to Pyramid, looks like.
And Alex will shortly be in go mode himself.
We're getting a frame a second here, it looks like.
That's alright. With Butter Sword and Silver Arrows, this Ganon fight will not take much. We can talk a little bit about what Dragonstrike will be doing as Alexhax grabs his Cane of Samaria and will complete Mire shortly.
I'm glad to do that. If we have Gold Sword and Silver Arrows in hand, it'll be 6 slashes a phase for Dragonstrike against the first 2 phases with the Trident Throw and the Fire Shield. After we get to phase 3, it'll be Ground Stops, in which Ganon will teleport to a certain spot. He may fake us out a few times, or hopefully, if in our case, a few dozen times. But once he stops, a single slash will make him crack the floor, or after he cracks the entire surrounding floor, he'll tell us where the silver arrows are, and we'll begin the darkness technique, in which case it'll just be 1 slash to stone with the lights on, and then 4 silver arrows to win the fight. If we didn't have the silver arrows, we would resort to silverless strats, and it'd be 3 spin attacks per missed silver arrow as Ganon teleports away. It is possible to slash him during this time, but it's a 2-frame window, very tight. Spins are very much more consistent an option for that if you have to do them. And here we go.
Ganon rambling on about Impa. I imagine right now that phase 1 is already done, and probably phase 2 is short to be completed. Looks like Ganon teleported into that corner right there. You can actually, even though the Butter Sword spins don't do any extra damage, a spin will let you get 2 hits in at once if you're in the corner. This looks to be like phase 3 teleporting, and we can see by the floor falling away that 1 stomp has been completed. And that looks like number 3 right there is about to happen.
Yeah, and I will also add that spins are ideally the way to go with the Ganon fights 4th phase if you're having to do silverless. Slashes are possible, but with the timing and how much damage they do, it's worth it. You may get them randomly when you're trying to set up hits if you hit them a little too late, but that's about it. Don't try to actively go for slashes. You're not going to have a good time. There we go, though. Dragonstrike has defeated Ganon. Quick fight, as expected. And that is GG for Dragonstrike with an official first place time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 10 seconds.
Get some GGs in chat. Very well done. Gets the first Triforce win for Team Hime. We'll take a 1-0 lead in this series. We'll need 2 more wins to complete their division semifinals, but Major Mistakes will be looking to equal that soon with a race coming up in about 1 hour. And we'll see if we can get Dragonstrike in here for an interview.
As a reminder, folks, the match that's coming up in an hour is, in fact, the next match on our schedule. Well, it is, of course, versus Team Hime and Team Major Mistakes with their Wisdom pairing match, Kermit versus Catabat. That will be on SG1. And that is the Ambrosia seed settings for them. After coming up a little bit later in the day, we have Team I Like Big Boots and Team The Spoilers happening on SpeedGaming 5. Zero versus Dr. Mario. That is actually a Game 4 match. I don't know the settings on it. It's not... So don't ask me. And then we have, as we are joined by Dragonstrike, we have an 8-10 match, Optigood versus Volkswagen Accent on the ALTTPR League. That's a Game 3. But Dragonstrike, welcome, GG to you. We couldn't exactly quite see that Ganon fight, but you put in an excellent fight, most likely. Talk to the scene.
Yeah, sorry about the frame drops, guys. It's always
It's
around
fine.
the time,
It's
usually.
fine. It's fine. It happens sometimes.
We saw all the frames we needed while you were getting your items, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, we actually specifically saw the frame that you found the baking, the frame you found the 5 rupees on Vitreous, and also the frame that you actually killed Ganon, and the frame you actually entered the Triforce room.
Nice. So you saw the important stuff at least.
Yes. So, Alex was the first one to find the cape, but did not have the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, TR not being required at all made me sweat so much, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It would have been a very different story if the Ether Medallion was required, though. That would have cinched your lead even tighter than it already was.
Yeah, I was hoping for that, but well.
So, I mean, that speaks volumes about your execution, that you managed to full clear TR and still finish ahead as well. You had a couple of extra mountain climbs. Just want to, think what, was it you're just thinking item density and that you would be guaranteed to find the lamp in desert area when you did that initial sequence break up the mountain?
Yeah, I just wanted a fire source for Desert Palace so I can probably finish it if it's not boots locked. And then I see the boots on the desert ledge and was like, okay, game, thank you.
That was while you were climbing the mountain, we were following Alexhax finds a moon pearl, and we were saying, oh, you know what, he'll probably scout desert, but would probably, we'll find out if it's boots locked and then see the boots right there, so.
Yep, same.
Meanwhile, Alexhax is in the Ganon fight, entering phase 3 right now. He'll be done shortly.
So for those of you who are counting teleports, we will get to see them here on Alexhax. But from the speed that Dragonstrike showed us, it doesn't look like there must have been that many warp. But Dragonstrike, so how do you feel about the seed overall and getting that first win for Team Hime?
It was pretty insane that we only have been looking for cape after like, I don't know, 40? At least I was only looking for cape at that point. It was, I don't know.
I'm sorry to interrupt here for you, Dragonstrike, but we have to mention this here. Alexhax Silver Arrows is resorting to Silverless Strats to finish this fight.
Used up the last of his arrows on Vitreous. Probably should have, might have been safer to go for Butter Sword strats on the eyes, but it's easy to forget that, yeah, you don't have the Ganon's Tower climb to go and get extra silvers, get extra arrows.
Also,
and never picked up the shovel to dig it.
Yeah, did also miss a shot for aiming left to sit down. But anyway, folks, get your GG in the chat for Alexhax, who has finished strong here. Major Mistakes will be a game down, but does have the game later today, as well as the game tomorrow at noon to try to get to a Game 4 situation. And that is second place officially with a time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 50 seconds. GG's to both teams.
Absolutely, GG's. And yeah, Fear Agent has a question that I have for you, Alex. Why did you veto open? Was it just to avoid inverted, do you think? Or were you interested in inverted?
I'm just not a big fan of open, that's all. At the start, and I think I'm a little bit better at execution, so that's why I vetoed it.
That's very fair, but we are joined by Alexhax as well. GG's.
GG's.
Rough choice, but that's Samaria. You were the first to the Cape, you were the first to the Dark World access, first with the boots. But that Smith chain got you caught. I think it was probably that soft lock from the dig game that put off the things, put off doing your sniffing.
Yep, I don't know. I actually thought that the soft dog could have led me back to do the Smith chain because I had one more check with Stumpy after I found the mids. And I actually thought about doing the Smith chains a few times, which I did not in the end, which turned out to be rather unlucky or stupid, you could say.
Yeah, and this scene could have gone a lot better and it could have gone a lot worse if it was actually Ether for Misery Mire, because we ended up finding that was in the crystal roller room of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think I was kind of lucky having the right medallion. It was quite a gamble for me to enter Misery Mire without the Samaria, or without Samaria. And I was actually hoping it could be inside there because I already thought I was behind, knowing my execution was not really on point for some parts, and knowing my routing was actually not as good as it could have been, considering the possibilities I would have had if I found the hookshot earlier, or if I found the boots earlier, or whatever. So I already felt behind, and I thought I had to go for a gamble, something. So, well, I gave it a shot. I missed.
Definitely no bad play here. Both of you executed quite well, and no real bad decisions either. The choice, going into Swamp when you did Alex made, 100% sense. It was the most item dense at that time, and Dragonstrike, it made sense for Turtle Rock at that time since you had the item left in Hera anyway.
Not to mention everything on Dark Dove Mountain. Now I want to change the pace from the mid and late game to the early game of the seed, in which you guys got a pretty okay escape outside of just not getting any bomb drops, with the mirror and the hammer being available to you both in there. And also for the most part for your early game routing, you both were basically following the same path. It didn't deviate until the mountain versus desert play.
Well, I actually thought about going to the mountain as well, but I thought there either had to be the lamp, which was the worst possibility, the flute, or the moon pearl in desert, which led me to go to the desert rather than to the mountain. Oh my gosh! And finding the moon pearl there actually gave me quite a good feeling at the start. But as I said, finding the hookshot would have helped out a lot as well. So I don't know which was the better option. I guess both were like reasonable choices, and yeah.
Well, it ended up being a fairly good race, all things considering. And of course, there's neither one of you are out of the running just yet. Your teammates are racing later today and tomorrow at noon as well, respectively.
And that game between Kermit and Catobat, which will be Ambrosia settings, is in exactly 1 hour's time, and that'll be on the main Speed Gaming channel. So I imagine both of you will be cheering on from the chat, cheering your teammates on.
Yeah, obviously.
Likewise, the mentions I mentioned already, like we boosters and spoilers, that'll be on Speed Gaming 5 at 5:10. OP versus Old Swagger Jackson, which I believe is another team that is looking to be fighting against the undefeated members. Yes, I believe they will be having to worry about fighting Ferrami. We'll do an interview if we win, if they, as their second match for that group. The other team that is undefeated, with your guys is having to worry about Team Awesome, who is the other undefeated team going out of the regular season. So hopefully you guys can strike a wound there and make them not have a perfect season. Well, whichever one of your teams wins, after all. I don't know yet. That match, by the way, for Wall Kicks and Kern, Optic versus Swag Guys, will be on the ALTTPR League And then we have one more match for you tonight at 11:30 versus Team We're Bad at Team Names versus Team JPTBB. JP versus Clifford. That will be on Speed Gaming as well.
So once again, please follow both our runners, Alexhax and Dragonstrike. They put on a fantastic show, putting on this routing in there, and their execution. Give them a follow. Show how much you appreciate them. It's free. It gives you entertainment. It helps the runners. Big shout outs to Literally Jen, our tracker. The seed was fast, the items were fast, and she was fast on the buttons. So thank you so much. And thank you, Wolflink, for covering for me when I, unfortunately had to miss the first part of this seed. Pleasure commentating with you.
Pleasure as well, mine. Make sure to also follow mine as well. And of course, make sure to also follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming's Q through 6 so you don't miss any racing action, not just the ALTTPR Randomizer League. And of course, we also feature the races on the ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 through 4. One of those matches, like I said, will be on later tonight at 8:10 on our main ALTTPR League channel. But with that all being said and done, folks, I've been Wolflink0, and from all of us here at ALTTPR Randomizer League, we'll just see you all next time. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good day, everyone.
Take care, y'all.